What if I told you there was a tool that could help you collect over 30% of all anonymous website traffic data from your site? Even more importantly, what if I told you that your understanding of email marketing laws is incorrect and that we've been missing out on maximizing our email marketing efforts? Would you want to know about that tool as well as a correct understanding of the various email marketing laws? Well, that is exactly what we discuss in this video. So let's get to it. Hello, I'm James McKinney, the creator and host of the Startup Story podcast. Each week, I sit with a successful founder to hear their entrepreneurial journey that led them to build the incredible organizations that they have. With close to 100 episodes and almost 100,000 listeners across the UK, Australia, and the United States, we have been fortunate to have some of the most amazing founders join the show. Founders such as Ben Chestnut, co-founder of MailChimp, Randy Zuckerberg, founder of Zuckerberg Media and the creator of Facebook Live, and of course, Christina Stembel of Farm Girl Flowers. You probably recognize her from the National Capital One campaign. But just recently, I had the chance to speak with Adam Robinson of Get Emails. Get Emails is an identity resolution product, and Adam will go into detail as to exactly what that is. But what you need to know from one entrepreneur to another is that Get Emails helps you identify and market to all the anonymous website traffic that you receive. How the technology works is unbelievable, but we don't cover it here in this video. You'll have to listen to his entire episode of the Startup Story podcast by visiting thestartupstory.co/get emails. The other reason I wanted to bring this interview with Adam directly to you was because of how misunderstood the email marketing and opt-in laws are. In this video, Adam's going to truly lay out the various email marketing laws like GDPR, CAN-SPAM, and CASL. Once you understand what the laws truly say, you will see just how valuable Get Emails is for your business. But before we jump into the interview, I want to highly encourage you to watch this video to the very end, as I have a special offer to have your business highlighted in an upcoming episode of the Startup Story. Now let's jump into this incredibly valuable interview with Adam Robinson, founder of Get Emails. So now let's jump into Get Emails, because this is what I have told so many people about. We had you on the podcast where we unpacked your entire startup story on how you got to Get Emails. But for those watching this for the very first time ever hearing about Get Emails, what is Get Emails?
So Get Emails is an identity resolution product. What does that mean in layman's terms? You put our script on your website and we can identify around a third of your anonymous website visitors, even if they don't fill out any kind of form. And we can send you their email address along with their first and last name and postal record if you want it. And you can legally, this is important, legally in a compliant way, retarget them over email or direct mail, and bring these customers back to your site, send them offers. If you're a publisher, just send them more content. Whatever your business model is, however you monetize eyeballs, you can use our data to grow your audience and grow that monetization effort.
So I've been using Get Emails for probably 3 months now on the startupstory.co website, and it is remarkable. And I know a lot of people are probably watching this thinking, okay, you said legally, but my understanding of GDPR is that there's no way this is legal because you have to opt in. So right here and now, let's unpack the legalities of this, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding as when it comes to email and opt-in marketing. So can you talk about all the things we need to know from a US, Europe, and maybe even Canada perspective?
There's a few big things to talk about. One, and this is for the US only. Keep in mind, our database is only the US only. In the US, there's a big misunderstanding. CAN-SPAM is actually an opt-out regulation. It's not an opt-in regulation. People think that, well, they've been told actually by several different organizations who have several different interests that you have to have an opt-in to market to people in the US. That is completely untrue from a legal standpoint. You just need to have an opt-out link and you can market to anybody you want. There's new legislation called CCPA that is more strict than CAN-SPAM, and there's a big misunderstanding there too. So in Europe, the legislation's GDPR. Now, GDPR, the European legislation, says that you must have express consent to collect data online. That's an opt-in legislation. Get emails doesn't work in Europe, but that's okay. It's only a US database. European companies can even use it in the US so long as, just because there's no crossover. So people assume that since CCPA is more strict than CAN spam and GDPR is more strict than CAN spam, they equal each other. That's not true at all. CCPA says nothing about express consent for data collection. It's an opt-out legislation also. You have to change your privacy policy. We tell you how to do that. But for CCPA, get emails is 100% okay. Also, Canada, you can't do it in Canada because CASL is express consent for data collection on the internet too. But USA, it's totally fine. For the foreseeable future, if there's a national policy that emulates CCPA, get emails will remain fine.
Gathering anonymous traffic is so foreign to so many brands. I mean, really, until I heard about Get Emails, I had no idea this even existed. And for those who want to hear how this exists, check out Adam's episode of The Startup Story at thestartupstory.co/get emails. You will hear his episode. You can see it on all major podcast platforms. But the reason this exists is even more remarkable. But for those brands that are considering, well, I want to use Get Emails to bring some of that anonymous traffic data into our marketing campaigns, what are some tactics that you would suggest when employing Get Emails into their ecosystem?
Sure. So there's a sliding scale depending on how advanced you want to go, but I'll just throw out a few that everybody should do. We populate data in real time to your email service provider. Highly suggested that you send immediately. So just an autoresponder that goes out right when you get that email. And if you're an e-commerce store, it's an offer with a coupon. If you're a publisher, some sort of evergreen content, maybe a welcome email. Thanks for coming by the site, something like that. But get an email out quickly. Make a 4 or 5 email series. And it can be anything. It really doesn't matter. You're just trying to get engagement from people. If you know what your best content is, put that out there. And then I think with the e-commerce emails, you can literally just keep the same coupon and make the email look different, and it'll seem new. And then move your opens and clickers, and you can do this with almost every email marketing campaign also. After that 5 email series, move the openers and clickers into your newsletter list. And if they didn't open and click after 3 to 5 emails, just unsubscribe them.
Okay.
And that's it's kind of advanced, but it's pretty easy to do. And if you want to use the product and ask us how to do it, we'll literally do it for you. It's just a little, drag and drop automation that all the email service providers have.
I hope you found this content helpful. And if you did, then please make sure to subscribe to the Startup Story podcast on your podcast platform of choice so you can hear Adam's episode in its entirety. With close to 100 founder interviews to choose from, I am confident you will find many that will be helpful to your entrepreneurial journey. Now, I mentioned earlier that I have a special offer for you, and it requires nothing from you except your time. In every episode of the Startup Story, I read a listener review from Apple Podcasts. If you visit the Startup Story show page within Apple Podcasts and leave a written review, I will read it in an upcoming episode. And here's the best part. If you insert your URL, social media accounts, or company name within that review, then when I read your review in an episode of the Startup Story, your brand URL will be inserted into the Startup Story and live on for years to come. It's basically a free advertisement for your business or brand within the Startup Story. I hope you'll subscribe to this show as well as follow us on all the many social media platforms. I say it in every episode because I believe it. Entrepreneurs support other entrepreneurs, and we're here to support you.